Welcome back to our channel. Today, we are going to talk about something that can completely change your life. Not slowly, but fast. Because today's topic is how to learn English very fast. Now listen carefully. Many people spend years learning English, but still cannot speak confidently. Not because they are not smart, but because they are using the wrong method. They focus on grammar too much. They wait for perfect sentences. They are afraid of making mistakes. And because of this, they stay stuck. But today, you are going to learn a different way, a faster way, a smarter way, a practical way. This is not about studying more. This is about learning better. So stay with me till the end. Because this video will not only help you learn English faster, it will also help you speak with confidence. Step 1. Stop translating. Start thinking in English. This is the most powerful step. And if you truly understand this, your English will start improving faster than ever before. Now listen carefully. The biggest mistake most learners make is this. They don't think in English. They translate. Every time they want to speak, their mind works like this. First, they think in their native language. Then they translate it into English. Then they try to speak. And because of this process, they feel slow. They get stuck. They forget words. They lose confidence. And sometimes, they stop speaking completely. Let me explain why this happens. When you translate, your brain is doing double work, first thinking, then translating, and this creates pressure. It slows your speaking, it breaks your flow, and it makes you dependent on your native language. That is why, even after learning English for years, many people still cannot speak smoothly, because they are not thinking in English. They are translating. So what is the solution? Stop translating. Start thinking directly in English. Now you may ask, how can I do that? I don't know enough English. Don't worry. You don't need perfect English to start thinking in English. You just need simple English. Let's start step by step. In the beginning, don't try to think big sentences. Start with small thoughts, very small. For example, when you wake up in the morning, don't think in your native language. Think in English. Simple thoughts like, I am waking up. I feel sleepy. I need to get up. When you go to the bathroom, think, I am brushing my teeth. The water is cold. I am getting ready. When you eat food, think, this is tasty. I am hungry. I like this. Simple, easy, no pressure. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are training your brain. Now understand this deeply. At first, it will feel strange. Your mind will try to go back to your native language. You will feel slow. You will feel uncomfortable. But this is normal, because your brain is not used to thinking in English. But if you continue, day by day, your brain will start adapting. And slowly, something amazing will happen. You will start thinking automatically in English, without forcing, without translating, without stress. And when you think in English, speaking becomes easy, because now you don't need to translate. You already have your thoughts in English. You just speak them. This is the secret of fast learners. They don't translate. They think directly in English. Now let me give you a powerful practice. Throughout the day, talk to yourself in English, inside your mind, or softly. Describe what you are doing. Describe what you see. Describe what you feel. For example, if you are walking outside, say in your mind, I am walking on the road. The weather is nice. I see many people. If you are watching something, say, "This is interesting. I understand this. I don't understand this part." This habit will change your brain. Now, one more important thing. Don't worry about mistakes. Your thoughts do not need to be perfect. Even if your sentence is not correct, it is okay. Because this is practice, and practice creates improvement. If you wait for perfect English, you will never start. So start with simple English. Broken English is okay. Wrong English is okay. Silence is not okay. Because silence stops your growth. But trying, even imperfectly, moves you forward. Now connect this with your goal. If you practice thinking in English every day, you will notice a big change in a few weeks. Your speed will increase. Your confidence will improve. Your hesitation will reduce. And your mind will become faster in English. Because now, English is not something you translate. English becomes something you think. And when English becomes your thinking language, fluency becomes natural. So remember this line. If you want to speak fast, you must think fast. And if you want to think fast in English, you must stop translating. So from today, start this habit. Think in English. Every day, every moment you can. Because this one step alone can change your entire English journey. And this is how you start learning English very fast. Step 2. Speak English every day, even if it is only for 10 minutes. This step is simple, but it is powerful. And if you follow this one step honestly, your English will start changing faster than you think. Now listen carefully. Many learners read English. Many learners watch English. Many learners study grammar. Many learners learn vocabulary. But still, they cannot speak. Why? Because speaking is a skill, and every skill becomes strong only through use. You cannot become a good swimmer by only reading about swimming. You cannot become good at driving by only watching videos. In the same way, you cannot become a confident English speaker by only studying English. You must speak it. That is the truth. And this is where many learners make a big mistake. They keep waiting for the perfect time to start speaking. They think, first I will learn more words. First I will fix my grammar. First I will become more confident. Then I will speak. But that day never comes. Because confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking. Fluency does not come before practice. Fluency comes because of practice. So if you want to learn English very fast, you must make speaking a daily habit. Not sometimes. Not only when you feel motivated, every day. Now you may say, "But I have no partner." That is okay. You do not need a partner to start. You need a mouth. You need a voice. And you need consistency. You can speak alone. You can speak in front of a mirror. You can describe your day. You can talk about your plans. You can explain what you see around you. You can even speak to your phone and record yourself. The goal is simple. Open your mouth every day, because many learners know English in their head, but their mouth is not trained. Their brain may know words, but their tongue is not ready. And that is why, when the moment comes to speak, they freeze, they hesitate, they pause too much, they feel nervous. Not always because they lack knowledge, but because they lack speaking practice. Now understand this deeply. When you speak every day, even for only 10 minutes, you are training many things at the same time. You are training your tongue to move more naturally. You are training your brain to find words faster. You are training your ears to hear your own English. You are training your confidence to grow slowly. And all of this matters. Because fluency is not built in one big moment. It is built in small daily repetitions. 10 minutes every day may look small, but if you do it seriously, it will change you. Because daily practice is stronger than occasional long study. Many people study for 2 hours one day and then do nothing for 5 days. That does not build fluency. But 10 or 15 minutes every day, that builds momentum. That builds habit. That builds speaking power. Now let me show you how to do this step in a practical way. First, choose one fixed time every day. Maybe morning, maybe evening, maybe after lunch, maybe before sleep. The exact time does not matter. What matters is regularity. Because when you choose a fixed time, your mind starts preparing for it, and the habit becomes easier. Second, choose easy speaking topics. Do not make it difficult in the beginning. Talk about your day. Talk about your room. Talk about your breakfast. Talk about what you want to do tomorrow. Talk about your goals. Talk about a movie you watched. Talk about a problem you faced. Simple topics are enough. You are not giving a speech on a big stage. You are building fluency step by step. Third, do not stop every time you make a mistake. This is very important. Many learners speak one sentence, then stop, then correct themselves too much, then start again, then stop again. This breaks the flow. In the beginning, focus more on flow than perfection. Let the words come out. Even if your English is not perfect, keep going, because speed and comfort grow through movement. If you stop every few seconds, your brain never learns to continue. So keep speaking. Even broken English is better than silent, perfect English in your head. Now let's go deeper. Why does daily speaking work so well? Because the brain learns through repetition. When you repeat something daily, the brain starts treating it like something important. It builds stronger connections. It becomes faster. It becomes more automatic. This is why people who speak English every day improve much faster than people who only study rules. Because spoken English is a living skill. It needs real use. Now think about children. How do children learn to speak a language? Not by studying grammar books, not by memorizing hundreds of rules. They listen, they repeat, they speak daily, they make mistakes, and slowly, they improve. You need the same spirit, less fear, more repetition, less waiting, more speaking. Now let me tell you something powerful. At first, your speaking may feel uncomfortable. You may feel slow. You may repeat the same words. You may feel that your English is very basic. That is normal. Do not be discouraged by that stage. That stage is necessary. Because every fluent speaker once had simple English. Every confident speaker once felt awkward. Every smooth speaker once paused too much. But they kept going. And that is why they improved. So do not judge your beginning too harshly. Respect it. Because your beginning is the doorway to your future fluency. Now let us connect this with fast improvement. If you want to learn English very fast, you cannot leave speaking for later. Speaking must be part of your learning from the start. Because speaking shows you your real level. When you speak, you discover where you get stuck. You discover which words you don't know. You discover where your grammar becomes weak. You discover how long you can speak without stopping. And this awareness helps you improve faster. So speaking is not only practice, it is also feedback. It shows you what to work on next. Now here is one more powerful method. After speaking for 10 minutes, listen to yourself if you recorded it. Do not listen to criticize yourself harshly. Listen to learn. Ask yourself simple questions. Where did I pause too much? Which word did I repeat many times? Which sentence felt difficult? Where did I sound confident? This self-listening will make you more aware. And awareness is the beginning of improvement. Now remember something very important. You do not need motivation every day. You need discipline. Some days you will feel excited to practice. Some days you will feel lazy. Some days you will feel tired. Speak anyway, even if only for 5 minutes on a difficult day. Do not break the habit, because once the habit becomes strong, your improvement becomes faster and easier. So from today, make this promise to yourself. I will speak English every day. Not someday, not when I feel ready. Every day, even for 10 minutes. Because when you speak every day, English stops being a subject and starts becoming part of your life. And when English becomes part of your daily life, that is when you start learning it very fast. Step 3. Learn English in sentences, not just words. This step can make your English much faster, much easier, and much more natural. Because one of the biggest mistakes many learners make is this. They learn English like a dictionary. One word today, one word tomorrow, another word the next day. And they keep collecting words. But when it is time to speak, their mouth becomes silent. Why? Because knowing words is not the same as knowing how to use them. You may know the meaning of many English words, but still not know how to make a natural sentence quickly. And that is why this step is so important. Do not learn only words. Learn sentences. Learn complete ideas. Learn how words live together. Now let me explain this clearly. Imagine you learn only one word like hungry. Okay, you know the meaning. But when you want to speak, your brain starts working hard. How do I use it? What comes before it? What comes after it? Which tense should I use? And because your brain is searching too much, you become slow. Now look at the difference. Instead of learning only hungry, learn the full sentence. I am hungry. Now your brain already has a ready-made pattern. You do not need to build the sentence from zero. You already know how the word is used. And this makes speaking faster. This is how real fluency grows. Not by collecting single words, but by collecting useful sentence patterns. Now understand something powerful. Language is not only vocabulary. Language is structure. Language is rhythm. Language is connection. When native speakers talk, they are not creating every sentence from the beginning each time. Their brain already knows many sentence patterns. That is why they speak fast. That is why they sound natural. So if you want to learn English very fast, you need to train your brain the same way. Learn English in chunks, in small, useful sentence groups, in complete expressions. For example, don't just learn the word tired. Learn, I am tired. I feel tired today. I am too tired to study. Don't just learn a word late. Learn, I am getting late. He came late. Sorry, I am late. Don't just learn the word understand. Learn, I understand this. I don't understand. Can you explain it again? Now look at what is happening here. You are not just learning meaning. You are learning usage. You are learning structure. You are learning how English actually works in real life. And this helps your speaking much more than memorizing random vocabulary lists. Now let's go deeper. Why do sentences help so much? Because your brain loves patterns. When you repeat a sentence again and again, your brain starts remembering the pattern automatically. Then later, you can change one or two words and create many new sentences. For example, if you learn, I want to learn English. Then you can easily make, I want to speak English. I want to improve fast. I want to watch a movie. I want to go outside. See the power? One sentence pattern can create many sentences. This is smart learning. This is fast learning. Because you are not learning everything separately. You are learning a system. And once you understand patterns, your English starts growing much faster. Now here is another important point. When you learn words alone, you often forget them quickly. But when you learn them inside a sentence, your memory becomes stronger. Why? Because the sentence gives context. Context helps memory. For example, if you only memorize the word borrow, you may forget it. But if you learn, can I borrow your pen? Now the word becomes part of a real situation. You can imagine it, you can feel it, and because of that, you remember it better. This is why sentence learning is more natural and more effective. Now let me show you how to practice this step in daily life. When you read something in English, do not only underline difficult words, underline useful sentences. Short, practical, daily life sentences. Sentences you can actually speak. For example, I am working on it. It depends on the situation. I will do it later. That makes sense. I am not sure about that. These are gold. Why? Because they are useful. You can use them in real conversations. And the more useful a sentence is, the faster it becomes part of your speaking. Now here is a strong habit you should build. Every day, choose 5 useful sentences. Read them aloud. Repeat them many times. Then use them in your own examples. For example, if your sentence is, I am working on it, then say, I am working on my English. I am working on my confidence. I am working on my speaking skills. This helps you move from memorization to real use. And that is the goal. Not to collect English, but to use English. Now let's connect this with confidence. Many learners feel nervous when speaking because they think they must create perfect sentences on the spot. That feels hard. That creates pressure. But if your mind already has many ready-made sentence patterns, you feel safer, you feel faster, you feel more confident. Because your brain is no longer empty. It has tools, it has structures, it has real language ready to use. That is why sentence learning reduces hesitation. It gives your brain material to work with. Now let me tell you another truth. If you want to sound natural, you must learn natural sentences. Many learners study strange textbook English that they never use in real life. So later, they know English, but their English does not sound alive. That is why you should choose sentences from real life, from videos, from conversations, from lessons, from things people actually say. For example, what do you mean? I am just kidding. Give me a minute. It is up to you. I don't feel like going. These kinds of sentences make your English more real. And when your English becomes more real, your fluency becomes more natural. Now understand one more important thing. This step also helps your grammar. Yes, without always studying grammar separately. Because when you learn enough correct sentences, your brain starts feeling what sounds right. You begin to notice patterns naturally. You start saying things correctly more often because you have heard and repeated them many times. So sentence learning improves vocabulary, speaking, fluency, confidence, and grammar at the same time. That is why it is so powerful. Now make this practical promise to yourself. From today, I will not only memorize words, I will learn English in sentences. I will collect useful patterns. I will repeat them. I will use them. Because this is how English becomes easier. This is how English becomes faster. And this is how English becomes a part of you. So remember this line. Words help you understand English, but sentences help you speak English. And if you really want to learn English very fast, then start feeding your mind with useful, simple, powerful sentences every single day. Step 4. Listen to English every day. But listen actively, not passively. This step is extremely important if you want to learn English very fast, because many learners want to speak better, but they do not train their ears. And this is a big mistake. Before your mouth speaks English well, your ears must become familiar with English. You must hear English again and again. You must hear how words sound. You must hear how sentences connect. You must hear the rhythm, the speed, the pronunciation, and the natural flow. Because if your ears are weak, your speaking will also be weak. Now listen carefully. Many people say, I listen to English every day, but I still don't improve. Why does this happen? Because there are two kinds of listening. The first is passive listening. The second is active listening. Passive listening means English is playing, but your mind is not fully there. Maybe you are doing 10 other things. Maybe the audio is running in the background. Maybe you hear sounds, but you are not really paying attention. This kind of listening is not completely useless, but it is not enough if you want fast improvement. Active listening is different. Active listening means you are fully present. You are paying attention. You are trying to understand. You are noticing the words. You are observing pronunciation. You are listening to sentence patterns. You are asking yourself, what did I hear? What does this mean? How did they say that? And this kind of listening is powerful because active listening trains your brain deeply. Now understand this clearly. You cannot speak what you never hear. Your mouth cannot naturally produce patterns your ears have never absorbed. That is why listening is not a small step. It is a major step. In fact, good speaking is built on good listening. The more English your brain hears, the more English your brain starts storing. And when your brain stores more real English, speaking becomes easier. Now let me explain why daily listening works so well. When you listen to English every day, your brain starts getting used to the language. At first, English may sound too fast, too unclear, too difficult. You may feel like all the words are mixed together. This is normal. Do not panic. This happens to almost every learner. Your ears are simply not trained yet. But when you keep listening daily, something begins to change. Slowly, your ears start separating sounds. You begin to catch familiar words. Then you begin to understand small sentences. Then bigger ideas. Then whole conversations. This is how listening grows, not in one day, but little by little. And this is why consistency matters so much. Now let's go deeper. What should you listen to? Listen to simple English that you can understand at least partly. Do not always jump into very difficult content. Because if everything is too hard, you will feel lost. You will feel discouraged. And your learning will slow down. Choose English that is a little above your level, but not far above it. Something that challenges you, but does not crush you. This is the sweet spot for improvement. For example, if you are a beginner, listen to slow English lessons, simple conversations, easy stories, and beginner-friendly audio. If you are at an intermediate level, Listen to interviews, podcasts, short talks, daily conversations, and English learning videos spoken clearly. The goal is not to choose the most difficult English. The goal is to choose the most useful English. Now here is the most important part. Do not just listen once and move on. Repeat. Yes, repeat the same audio again. Many learners make the mistake of always wanting new content, but repetition is where deep learning happens. The first time you listen, you may understand very little. The second time, you catch more. The third time, you notice new words and sentence patterns. The fourth time, you begin to feel more comfortable. And suddenly, what once sounded difficult starts sounding familiar. This is powerful, because familiarity builds confidence, and confidence builds fluency. Now let me show you a simple active listening method. First, choose a short audio or video, not too long, maybe 1 to 3 minutes in the beginning. Second, listen once without stopping. Just try to understand the general idea. Do not panic if you miss many words. Third, listen again and pay attention to important words and phrases. Try to notice how sentences are formed. Fourth, if possible, listen again and repeat after the speaker. This is very powerful because now listening and speaking work together. Fifth, go back and listen one more time. This time, you will understand much more than before. This kind of listening trains your brain far better than random background listening. Now understand another important truth. Active listening also helps your pronunciation. Why? Because when you hear correct English again and again, your brain starts copying the sound. You begin to notice stress. You begin to notice how native speakers connect words. You begin to notice how they rise and fall in tone. And all of this affects the way you speak. Many learners focus only on reading and grammar, but their pronunciation stays weak because they do not listen enough. If you want your English to sound more natural, your ears must hear natural English daily. Now let us connect this with vocabulary. Listening helps vocabulary in a more natural way than memorizing long word lists. When you hear words in real sentences, you understand not only the meaning, but also the use. You understand where the word fits. You understand how it sounds in real speech. And because the word comes with context, you remember it better. For example, hearing a sentence like "I am looking forward to it" teaches you much more than just learning the phrase from a list. You hear the rhythm. You hear the pronunciation. You hear the natural use. And that makes the phrase stronger in your memory. Now here is another mistake you must avoid. Do not get upset because you cannot understand everything. Many learners think, if I do not understand every word, I am failing. No, that is not true. You do not need to understand every single word to improve. Even if you understand 60%, you are still learning. Even if you understand the main idea only, you are still training your brain. Improvement comes from regular exposure, not from perfect understanding every time. So relax, stay patient, keep listening. Now let me tell you something very important. Listening every day also improves your thinking speed. Why? Because when your brain hears English daily, it starts processing English faster. At first, your brain needs a lot of time, but over time, it becomes quicker. It starts recognizing common patterns faster, and this speed later helps your speaking too. Because fast speaking is not only about your mouth, it is also about how fast your brain can recognize and produce English patterns. And listening trains that speed quietly in the background. Now make this habit practical. Give English a place in your daily life. Listen in the morning. Listen while walking. Listen during a break. Listen before sleeping. Even 15 or 20 minutes of active daily listening can create a big change over time. But do it with attention. Do it with purpose. Do it like training, not like noise. Now remember this clearly. If you want to learn English very fast, you must stop treating listening like an extra thing. It is not extra, it is essential. Because every strong English speaker is also a strong listener. They have heard thousands of sentences, thousands of expressions, thousands of sounds, and that is why English feels natural to them. So from today, listen to English every day, but do not just hear it. Study it with your ears. Feel it. Notice it. Repeat it. Absorb it. Because when your ears become stronger, your speaking becomes stronger. And when listening becomes your daily habit, English stops feeling foreign and starts feeling familiar. And that is one of the fastest ways to learn English. Step 5. Stay consistent. Because fast English learning is not about speed. It is about daily repetition. This is the final step. And in many ways, this is the most important step of all. Because you can know the best methods. You can watch the best videos. You can learn the best techniques. You can understand every step clearly. But if you are not consistent, none of it will change your English. Now listen carefully. Most learners do not fail because English is too difficult. They fail because they stop. They start with excitement. They feel motivated for a few days. They practice a lot in the beginning. They say to themselves, "This time I will really learn English." And for 2 days, 3 days, maybe 1 week, they do well. But then life happens. They get busy. They feel lazy. They feel bored. They miss one day, then another, then another. And slowly, the habit disappears. The dream becomes weak again. The confidence goes down again. The same cycle repeats again. This is why consistency matters so much. Because English is not built in one powerful day. It is built in many ordinary days, small days, simple days, quiet days. Days when you do not feel amazing. Days when you do not feel motivated. Days when progress feels invisible. Those are the days that build real fluency. Now understand this deeply. Many people think learning fast means doing everything in a very intense way for 1 or 2 days. But real fast learning does not work like that. Real fast learning comes from regular exposure, regular speaking, regular listening, regular thinking in English, regular repetition. Because the brain learns through repeated contact, not through one emotional burst of energy. This is why someone who practices English for 20 minutes every day will often improve faster than someone who studies for 4 hours only once a week. Why? Because daily practice keeps the language alive in the brain. It keeps the connection fresh. It keeps your mouth active. It keeps your ears trained. It keeps your confidence growing. Consistency turns English into a habit. And once English becomes a habit, progress becomes natural. Now let me explain something very important. You do not need a perfect routine. You need a realistic routine. This is where many learners make a mistake. They create huge plans. They say, "I will practice 3 hours daily. I will learn 50 words every day. I will speak for 1 hour every morning." At first, this sounds powerful, but for most people, it does not last. Because the plan is too heavy, too difficult, too unrealistic. And when they cannot follow it, they feel bad. Then they stop completely. That is why a small routine you can actually follow is much better than a big routine you quit after 3 days. Even 30 minutes a day can change your English. Even 15 focused minutes can help. What matters is not only how much you do. What matters is whether you keep doing it. Now let's make this practical. A strong daily English routine can be simple. You can think in English for a few minutes after waking up. You can listen to English for 10 or 15 minutes. You can speak for 10 minutes about your day. You can learn a few useful sentences. You can review old phrases before sleeping. This may not look dramatic, but if you do this every single day, the results will become dramatic, because small daily actions become big results over time. Now understand another truth. Consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation feels good. Motivation gives you energy. Motivation can help you start. But motivation is not always there. Some days you will feel strong. Some days you will feel weak. Some days you will feel excited. Some days you will feel like doing nothing. If your learning depends only on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. But when your learning depends on habit, you continue even on hard days. That is where real transformation begins. Because discipline keeps going when feelings change, and English fluency is built by discipline, not by mood. Now think about the people who become truly good at something. They are not always the most talented. Often, they are simply the most consistent. They show up again and again. They repeat again and again. They continue when others stop. And because they continue, they become strong. English is the same. You do not need to be special. You do not need to be born with perfect talent. You need to keep showing up. That is what separates fluent learners from frustrated learners. Fluent learners do not always do something extraordinary. They do ordinary things consistently. Now let us talk about bad days. This is very important. There will be days when you feel tired, days when your mind feels heavy, days when your English feels weak, days when you forget simple words, days when you feel like you are not improving. On those days, do not quit. Do less if needed. But do not stop completely. If you cannot do 30 minutes, do 10. If you cannot speak for 10 minutes, speak for 3. If you cannot study a full lesson, review 5 sentences. But keep the habit alive, because once you protect the habit, you protect your future progress. Never let one bad day become a bad week, and never let a bad week become the end of your journey. Now let me tell you something powerful. Consistency also builds identity. When you practice English daily, you stop seeing yourself as someone who is trying to learn English. You begin to see yourself as someone who learns English every day. That identity matters, because identity changes behavior. When your mind says, "I am a person who practices daily," you act differently. You become more serious, more disciplined, more committed. And this mental shift makes a huge difference. Now connect all 5 steps together. You started by learning to think in English instead of translating. Then you started speaking every day. Then you started learning in sentences, not just words. Then you started listening actively every day. And now, this final step holds everything together. Because without consistency, all the other steps stay weak. But with consistency, all the other steps become powerful. Consistency is the force that turns practice into progress. It turns effort into skill. It turns simple habits into real fluency. Now understand one final truth. Learning English fast does not mean rushing. It means reducing waste. It means not wasting months only reading without speaking. It means not wasting energy memorizing random words without using them. It means not waiting for confidence before opening your mouth. It means using the right steps again and again until English becomes part of your daily life. That is the fastest path. Not magic, not shortcuts, but smart, daily, honest repetition. So from today, make a decision, not an emotional decision, a real one. Tell yourself, I will stay consistent. I will practice every day. I will not wait for the perfect mood. I will not stop because progress feels slow. I will keep going because every day I practice, my English becomes stronger. And one day, the words that once felt difficult will come naturally. The speaking that once felt scary will feel normal. The language that once felt far away will become part of you. That is how real English growth happens. Slowly, daily, honestly. And then suddenly, it feels fast. So remember this final line. The fastest learners are not always the smartest. They are the ones who do not stop. And if you follow these 5 steps with consistency, your English will not stay the same. It will grow. It will become stronger. It will become more natural. And it will become a real part of your life. That is how to learn English very fast. That is the real way. And that is the final step. So now, you don't just have motivation. You have a system. A real practical way to learn English very fast. Not by guessing, not by waiting, but by doing the right things every single day. Think in English. Speak every day. Learn in sentences. Listen actively. And most importantly, stay consistent. Because your English will not change in one day. But if you follow this daily, one day, everything will change. You will speak without fear. You will think without translating. You will express yourself clearly. And you will finally become the person who once felt impossible to become. And remember, while you are learning these steps, you are already improving your English. Right now. By listening. By understanding. By staying focused. So don't stop here. Keep going. Keep practicing. Keep growing. And if you truly want to transform your English and your life at the same time, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because this is not just learning. This is your journey to confidence, clarity, and a better future. Start today and never stop.